Welcome to the paranormal and metaphysical world of Twilight tonight. Host DeeDee Moonflyer grew up with very open-minded parents who had many experiences with UFOs and the paranormal. Because of her mom's insistence on exposing her to spiritual classes, meditation, and teachings of Edgar Cayce, DeeDee had a fascination and deep interest in the paranormal. Her own paranormal experiences have led her to seek out and interview other fascinating, knowledgeable people for better understanding of this phenomenon. Now, your host of Twilight Tonight, DeeDee Moonflyer.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Twilight Tonic, WLTK-DB. Tonight, as always, we have a really special guest. His name is Kevin Jeffers. He has written an amazing book called The Pattern of Exploration of Consciousness. He's a soul traveler, a healer, and an energy specialist. Please welcome Jeff. Well, while we're waiting on Jeff, we'll talk a little bit about where you can get his amazing book. And you can get his book on Amazon. It's really interesting and I highly recommend it. We're going to go, when he comes on here, we're going to start talking about soul retrieval and patterns and all of that wonderful stuff. Well, while we're at it, we're still waiting on Jeff, which is fine. Wow. So I was wondering if everybody out there, if they've had a soul retrieval or if they've had experiences with afterlife patterns. If you do, maybe send us a chat and we can maybe talk about it. Because I think soul retrievals are so important. And we can learn a lot from them. And each person that I've ever talked to that's had a soul retrieval have different experiences and different ways of going about it. Some people go with shamans and some people go with practitioners. And some people find people to do it for almost nothing. It just depends on the healer. So at this point, let's see here. And I wonder with some of us, the life changes that people have with soul retrievals. I think that's so important. I had a soul retrieval. I loved it. I had it through Julie Scott Peters. And she did an amazing job. She came about it very shamanistic, and it was really interesting. It almost was like I was in a very deep hypnotic meditation state, and she started out with the drums, which was interesting. I didn't know what to expect having a soul retrieval, and then it went deeper and deeper and deeper into a total relaxation, to a total meditative state, into a total different feel to my whole body and mindset. And next thing I knew, I was in my complete meditation state. So if anyone else has had that experience, maybe shoot me a comment or an email on Facebook under DeeDee Moonflyer. I'd love to hear your story. Those are so interesting to me. And she went through retrieving pieces of my soul, which was very interesting. Pieces that break off, apparently, and put you in a different mode of life. And once you retrieve these, and they're given back to your soul to complete it, that's how my soul retrieval went. So I don't know who else has had one, but I'd love to hear from you and let me know how yours went. Mine continued to have experiences months and years after. So I had mine like 3 years ago, and I'm still having experiences from it. So we're still waiting on our guest. Sometimes technical stuff happens. So I have to have a sense of humor about this stuff. So anyway, let's hope he comes on because I really, really want to talk to him. The subject is so fascinating. He's going to go through how his experiences happened. He's also going to go through how it changed his life. And apparently he started years ago from my research. He started meditating like at 18 years old. So that's a young age. And not many people are exposed to meditation at that age. And some people start much later. I was lucky enough to have a mom where I started meditating as a kid. So that was really cool. And you can't get much luckier than that to have a mom that like takes you to meditation classes with her. I found that absolutely fascinating. And I still do, and I have a lot to thank for her. But he started meditating at a young age, and I think that opened so many bridges for people, and that makes it really, really, really incredible part of life, and it helps with stress and healing and out-of-body experiences if you're a type of person that has wanted out-of-body experiences. My mom used to study all of that, and she had out-of-body experiences. They kind of scare me a little bit, but she was all about that. And he also talks about patterns in his book. And there's a pattern to helping souls cross over, and there's a pattern before we cross over as well, according to him. So this is going to be really, really cool. And how to let go of your beliefs. Everybody has different beliefs out there. I follow a more paganistic belief. Somebody might be Catholic, somebody might be Protestant. I don't think it probably matters as long as you're a really good person in the afterlife. As long as you believe for the better good, I really believe that helps us. And he's also had a lot of experiences as well with not only out of body, but passing over and coming back. So hopefully when he gets here, we'll get to a little bit of that story. But I think his book is very, very important because it talks about consciousness and how to help others and how we all have that innate ability to help people cross over and go to the other side. And according to him, I believe from what I read, there's really no time limit like people believe that the gates close and you can't go over at certain points. He stresses that relatives and other people help you cross over no matter the timeline. And from my understanding, spirit has no time, so our time is perceived quite differently. So I think there is some technical difficulty getting here. Anyway, I think Kevin is having some difficulties on his side coming over. So maybe we could get Todd out here at some point. I'm hoping. Because...
Hi, DeeDee.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I think Kevin's having some issues in the background.
Yeah, I do too.
Live radio, gotta love it.
I know. Todd, let's talk about your book
Okay,
a
sure.
little bit. Tell people the title of your wonderful book. I love this.
The Haunted Voice, and
Hmm.
it's an autobiography about my life, a mini one, and I plan on doing a trilogy. I've got the second one in the works, and it's going to talk about the life after um all from the first book. It's going to talk about my life after and how it grew.
Hmm.
And then the third book is The Haunted Voice 3 Minutes to Live. And it's going to be all about the station and its growth and all you hosts and everything. So I've
That is
got
so cool.
it's a lot of fun. It's so freeing to write these things and to get them out there. And it's triggering a bunch of memories, good memories, and
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
amazing.
it's fun. And I was so blown away the other morning, DeeDee. I woke up and it was number 5 on the
I
bestsellers for
saw.
memoirs, and then it went to number 1, and I screenshotted it.
I saw.
I screenshotted that. I'm gonna save that. I mean, it's the little things because it's tough. It's tough to self-publish and write a
Yes.
book, really.
Oh my gosh. I think that's so amazing. I remember interviewing you a while back when the book first came out. I think you were that was one
Uh,
of your first
that
interviews with
was
the
my
book
first. Mhm.
on Twilight Tonic. Wow, now you're writing the second one.
It's amazing. It
Ah,
is
what a
amazing.
that is an incredible journey.
It took a lot to go through, um, being on both sides of the bars, so to speak, working corrections and then being in there is what I think spirit led me there to wake me up,
Hmm.
to show me that I was on the right path, but yet I ran into a stumble. And I kind of had an awakening in there a little bit. That didn't form later on until my spiritual side really came out in me. The whole, when someone says, "Oh, just let it go,"
Yeah.
just let it go. Like it's simple.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time, and this story's in the second book, but my kids, I hadn't seen them in 4.5 years
Wow.
because I lived in Florida and they lived here in Illinois. Well, apparently they were making a surprise visit to come see me, to fly down and come see me, and I had no idea. So I took my sister and brother-in-law out to eat one night, and he gets a phone call and he puts his head down and he just shakes it like this, and I'm like, "Bill, what's wrong?" He says, "Well, the cat's out of the bag now. Your kids are trying to come down and see you, but the flight was canceled,
Oh.
so they're not going to be able to make it." Of
Mm.
course, I'm devastated,
Hmm.
and I'm just so emotional about it. And we were driving back, and I took all of that emotion. I remember this like it was yesterday. I took all that emotion and just tossed it out there and said, "It's out of my hands. I can't control this anymore." And I kid you not, it wasn't 2 minutes later, his phone rings. They caught a red eye flight at 5 a.m. and they were able to
Wow.
come down and see me.
That's
So,
awesome.
so universe was trying to teach me a lesson.
Hmm. I think it's so weird when you let something go, something else happens,
Hmm.
usually for the better good. And it's really weird because it feels, because I'm like you a little bit. I have to control everything.
Yeah.
I'm like very much that way. My day job is I work with restaurants, I work with food. So I need that control. And then I'm like you later on, as I got older, I was like, oh, well, I can't, I have no control over that.
Right.
And once you release it, everything goes much smoother.
It's almost like it's an exchange.
Mm-hmm. Of
Um,
energy, yeah.
you're yeah, an exchange of energy. You're giving up something that doesn't serve you, and then you get back something that does. And that's
Absolutely.
happened to me a couple times, and I find it amazing when it happens. For example, finances and things. It's
Mm-hmm.
everybody worries about money, and for some reason, somehow, it's always there when we need it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's strange how these little synchronicities happen.
Oh yeah.
But
Todd, in your first book, it was very open emotionally and very, you could see like your growth throughout the book. And this next book, I'm fascinated. Is it going to talk a lot about you becoming more spiritual
mhm.
and how that's working for you, like releasing, letting go? Are you coming around to like your empathic abilities as well?
Not as much. Well, I still am unclear when it comes to that, but I have become more aware, spiritually aware than ever before. And I learn a lot from watching the shows as well, and I try some of
Hmm.
these techniques and things, and I've been into it for a while. Like you were talking about soul retrieval, I had that done a long time ago, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
It was magical, and that's what really lit me up. It was like, oh my goodness, this isn't something. This wasn't a dream. This
Yeah.
I went somewhere. I left because I can feel, and I think a person can feel whenever they leave. Whenever
Hmm.
you leave somewhere, you know you're gone. And the body, I left my body at that time. I feel, and it was just, it was. I had two of them done. The first
Wow.
one, I had to pay debts back. I was a Roman soldier
Ah,
that was responsible for killing thousands of people,
wow.
and I had to repay. I had to get this out of my karma, out of my being, and of course, you don't remember every second of it, but I remember glimpses and seeing glimpses where I'm standing at the gate and there's thousands and thousands of people standing there and I'm making amends with them. It's really strange
Oh my goodness.
on where you go, how you go there, how you get there, but it's instant. It's not like you have to drive or travel. It's just there you are. And
Right.
you're on this scene. The second one, I was in a lab, and apparently, I won a Pulitzer Prize for this fertilized corn seed. I mean, these things get detailed,
Wow. Wow.
and it wakes you up inside. I think it wakes your senses, and you know, I'm not getting all spiritual guru hippie that kind of vibe, but I'm
Right.
in tune with something that's definitely greater than myself. Being raised Catholic, of course, I believe in God,
Mhm.
a higher power of some sort. Something had to start all this. My goodness,
Right. Yes,
we didn't
absolutely.
we didn't evolve all evolve from rocks. you know,
Although I believe sometimes some people are. No.
you got a lot of people that stayed as a rock, but it changes your outlook. It changes your thinking. Things become more positive, and I found myself letting go, especially after the book. I had to let go of a few people. Um,
Oh.
they didn't they couldn't believe what I had put out there. They're like, "My God,
Oh.
you put your whole life out there." I said, "Absolutely. That's who I
Hmm.
am." you know, and you like me for who I am, or you don't like me at all. It's your
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah. You're a package deal here. It's like,
I mean,
wow.
I quit hiding it. I hid it for so long, DeeDee. I just, something led me to do it. And I came across a great editor, Kenneth Drake, just an amazing individual. And he showed me a few things on how to put this together, on how to, he says, you can, I said, there's no time. He says, trust me, you'll find time. And you do, because when you start, the next thing you know, 4 hours have gone by and you're
Wow.
sitting there, you've got tears flowing, you're laughing, you're just getting into it. And that's what I enjoyed, was that feeling, that
Hmm.
emotional roller coaster that writing gives you. And it's because I'm not much of a writer. I just like to extract this info from my brain, I guess. I don't
Hmm.
consider myself a creative writer or anything to that facet. I've never been specially trained or anything. I've got a few years of college, but you know, there's there's really no right or wrong way to do it. Especially any kind of book. They're so simple to put together these days. They really
Right.
are. There's some complications to them, but anybody can do it. Publish it on Amazon, and then you just follow the trail to these other places where you distribute it, and then boom, it just takes care of itself after a while. I mean, I enjoy giving away copies. I love doing that because I like to pay it forward. I want
Right.
people to read it, connect with it, relate to it. It talks about how they disabled me for 8 years. 8 years, Dee Dee. They had me, unemployable. I was a hermit. It was
Sure.
terrible. And to break free of that, it was almost like the Incredible Hulk coming out of a brick wall.
Yeah.
It was nuts.
I mean, if
And
you think about it, it's very inspirational for people that have had drinking problems or people that have had addiction problems because it is very misunderstood. And I have relatives that have very similar problems, and I had a brother that passed away due to addiction.
mhm.
But if they see a light like that, it's so inspirational. You have no idea how much that probably has helped
And,
people
and 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 I hope so. I hope so because there
when
is a way out.
you
And
open that book.
the alcohol took me down to a bottom of bottoms. I mean, literally passed out on the floor. The only thing that was loyal to me was my dog. Everything else I'd pushed away. And a person has to reach that, I think, and want help.
Absolutely.
You've got to ask for it. It's there, it's everywhere. You just have to swallow that pride, which will keep you down anyway. That pride and ego will
Yes,
weigh you
absolutely. Yeah.
down, and it's so hard to maintain. It's a false facade. It's exactly what it
Oh,
is,
yes.
and people can tell. But
Yeah.
it was um, it was an adventure to say the least to do that, and we sat and we tried hard and we made it. Our goal was to release it on Halloween. And it was
I
released
remember.
on Halloween. You remember that?
Yes.
It was so much fun. And then, the second one, I'm hoping to have that ready here in the next 6 to 8 months.
Hmm.
Um, the third, I've started it a little bit. That one's going to be really fun because it's going to have you guys in it, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
All us
Uh,
crazy people.
all you crazy people, all of us crazy people in there. But hopefully people can relate to it. Right now, they can actually get it free of charge. They can download it Kindle for free. I'm running a deal on there where if they go on Amazon, they can download the Kindle version for free,
Awesome.
and it just read it. Hopefully, you can relate to it and pass it, pay it forward. Take that book and give it to someone else, or
Absolutely.
pass it along.
Absolutely. Out of curiosity, Todd, with the station and everything that you've accomplished since then, what is new coming up with your station? I know you've got a lot of great new shows coming on, which I'm very excited about.
We just had one debut last night, Passport to the Paranormal, and it's
Fun.
with Joe Frankie and Dr.
Yeah.
Heather Lee. Now, they had a mystery celebrity guest last night. This was hilarious because Joe had no clue who was coming on.
Oh, yeah?
Well, Mr. John Zaffis himself pops in there,
Oh, oh, that's
and
him.
it was crazy. It was crazy fun. That was a wonderful debut, and then we have a new one coming June 19th called Ancient Healings,
Oh,
and it's with Jessica Lynn, and her name is Dilik Aktan. She's from Turkey,
oh, okay.
and they're going to do like coffee ground readings,
That's awesome.
Turkish coffee ground readings, and ancient healing techniques, things like that. Um, I'm working on a couple paranormal based shows, some ghost based shows too.
Hmm.
Those are in the works. And my show, Haunted Voices, is moving to Thursdays starting next week. So there's some shuffling going around.
Wow.
So Fridays are going to be open to fill, and we're accepting programming too, but it's growing very nicely. What I like to see this time of year are people watching the lives and listening to the podcast, or doing both. It's a
Right.
nice, healthy balance. There's we've had some people that weren't able to catch the shows because they didn't know they were on.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to do is make an events thing on the website, an events section. That way it can notify them. But the biggest thing I want to get out there, and the best way for you guys to show up at these live shows, because there's so many different shows
Yeah,
out
there
there.
is.
You can download our station calendar. Danny Loosemore built this, and it's amazing. You just download it, double click it, and it syncs with your calendar and puts all the shows and the links to get to them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's people are liking that, downloading that.
So, Todd, with all of the people you manage, what guest has stuck out most in your mind with
Oh,
the
that's a
years you've
great
been
question.
interviewing?
That's a great question. All these years, let's see, since 2004, my favorite interview, other than Sarah Estep in 2006, was Stanton Friedman. I
Wow.
always loved sitting down talking to Stanton. He was on the show probably 6 or 7 times, and the man was just amazing. We would talk about Area 51. We would talk, and,
Mm-hmm.
and he knows his stuff. He was a nuclear physicist.
I
I mean, this
know, he's
this guy,
incredible.
and just to, I mean, my facial expressions during our interviews are mind blowing.
I'd be getting the dictionary out. What?
Now, one of the funnest, however, and it was almost a challenge to see how long we could keep him on, was the amazing James Randi. Now, this guy makes skeptic Kenny Biddle look like a Ghostbuster.
Oh my gosh.
He was
Oh.
skeptic about being skeptical. James, he didn't believe. He says, "Well, if you tell me there's a blue giraffe in New York, I'll believe you. You show me a blue giraffe in New York." But he was a magician, and he would just go on and talk about his magic and so forth, and we would get into some topics, and he just didn't believe that spirits existed, that it shifted that way. Um,
Huh.
I wouldn't say the man was an atheist. Maybe he did believe in some kind of higher power, but I think he believed when we pass, we just see the darkness. It just
Right.
shuts off like a
Huh.
light switch. And a lot of people believe that. My neighbor believes that. We have great conversations, my neighbor and I, between the supernatural and his way of thinking. So those interviews really stand out. And the one that surprised me the most uh, was on my birthday. I was on a network called Kelsey Live. It was Kelsey Grammer's um, station that he had,
Hmm.
and Haunted Voices was on there for quite a while. And on my birthday, he calls into the show
Oh my gosh.
because
I'd be so happy.
he shares the same birthday.
Really?
Yeah, he was just sitting down to his birthday dinner and wished me a happy birthday and all that good stuff. And I mean, that was so much fun. And it's the thing with past interviews is I've forgotten a lot of them,
Because
unfortunately.
so many.
Yeah, there's been so many, but some of the ones that really stand out, Stanton, uh, with of course John Zaffis. Interviewing that
Mm,
man is unbelievable. He's a wealth of knowledge, and the way he looks at the community, and the veterans in this field are so important, and and
yes, I
and
agree.
hopefully they can take some of the new people under their wing and guide them, because this generation, everybody wants now. They
Yes,
want instant
absolutely.
gratification. Back when I started, we would sit there, prop our feet up for 4 hours and just wait,
Hmm.
maybe 8 hours. You just didn't know. But now it's, they come in, they don't get anything, they go out.
Right.
Um, but if they had the training, if they knew that it wasn't like television, that's
Mm,
entertainment. Um, the field is just, it's such a great place, a great community. It's this is the community that literally saved my life, because no
yes,
one no one
absolutely.
else would welcome me into their little community. My own town shunned me, you know,
Right. Yeah.
because of what happened. And this community welcomed me, and I love them for it, and I'll be behind them 110%. Now, I'm not big on para unity or anything like that. I want to see it work. I really do. But I think right now there's too many egos in the field. There's too many people chasing the wrong thing. We need to get back
Mm-hmm.
to research, less television, less conferences, more research, more collaborating. Let's start sharing our evidence again. These kinds of things. And
Right.
and these are the kinds of things I'll write about.
Yeah. I always tell people, because when I tell people what I interview for, they instantly bring up TV shows, and not, I have nothing against the TV shows, but they're
Mhm,
different. Entertainment is different
mhm.
from reality.
Yeah, it
And
is.
it's so different. When I interview people, I really like to hear about what they do and what they study, and it's exciting. But TV shows are very different. Now, the good thing about TV shows, I think they opened an avenue for things to be more
Absolutely.
accepted.
They made it so less taboo, and I can sit here and
Yeah.
talk about that. I narrate one of these television shows. I can sit here and talk about it. It's all production, and it's
Yeah.
it's made for entertainment and advertising. That's what it's all about. That's
Absolutely.
what television is, to keep you in your seat. So don't take that to heart.
Yeah.
Go online, find a veteran, talk to them. They'll tell you how it is. And it's not
Yeah.
like the television shows. I just don't like seeing people get hurt,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and people
Oh,
that go
no.
out there inexperienced. It's very easy to get hurt. You know, you,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of investigations I've seen where people are going off alone into these
No.
unknown buildings. Who knows if there's a hole in the floor? Who knows if,
Yeah.
you know, they fall into something or get locked into something, and
Yeah.
always go in pairs. It's safety in numbers when you're in an abandoned location like that. Um, there's too much room for error when you're inexperienced, and it's too easy for you to get hurt. Not just
Absolutely.
physically, but you could really do some damage if you, let's say, you think you're ready to go because you watched a full season of this paranormal show. So you're trained. You start doing client residences. You go in there, you stir up all kinds of stuff. You make the haunting even worse. And what do? You leave. And that homeowner is stuck with a bigger problem than when they called you because you didn't know what you were
Absolutely.
doing.
And that's sad because when you mess with things you don't understand, because that's why we study this stuff
Hmm.
to try to understand it. And like I said, there's a lot of people out there, like the veterans, that will give you information. It's on their website.
Yeah.
When we had Randy Ledbeck on, I thought he was amazing.
Oh, one of my
I
favorites.
I just sat there like in total like, uh, is
One of
anybody
my
watching?
favorites. Randy tells it like it is. He
Oh, he
doesn't
does.
he doesn't sugarcoat,
No.
and that's what we need because
Yes.
this is hard work. This field
Yeah,
research, it's hard work, and that work needs to be respected. It's not something you
absolutely.
just go out and buy a bunch of equipment and go out there and run around with a flashlight. It's nothing like that. It takes
Yes.
time, it takes energy, it takes a little bit of money too. To
Dedication.
do this dedication, absolutely,
Yes,
to do
absolutely.
this right.
So, Todd, what is your dream interview?
My dream interview. Wow. That is a great question. And my dream interview, unfortunately, she's not here any longer. I would like to talk to Sarah one more time. Um,
Um,
one more time. But if I had to choose, I would like to get Joe Rogan on the show to get
oh, I
his
was just about to say that.
to get his
Yes.
perspective on this field, what he thinks of it. Has he had any experiences? Does he think it's all rubbish? Because Joe will tell it like it is. And
Yeah.
that would be that would be an interview just to sit there and talk with him about that. Whether he believes in it or not, but why he wouldn't. And he may.
Yeah. That would
But
be interesting. Did you see the one? Oh gosh, I forget the guy's name. The explorer that saw Bigfoot and it changed his life. Like it kind of like rearranged his life. Joe Rogan had him on, and it was an interesting interview.
I haven't seen that one. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Yeah, he also has some of the people in the UFO field on there, I believe.
He's
So,
into it, yet he's not. He's a lot like Alex Jones,
uh
where
huh.
he's on the fence, yet not. You
Uh huh.
know, no one really knows. And I was that way for years. I never let anybody know if I believed or didn't believe. So I want to keep that skepticism in there.
Rolling.
Now the cat's out of the bag.
You
Oh
can't
yeah,
deny it.
I'm all over it. But
I think Dan Aykroyd would be amazing.
Dan would be good. Dan would be. I think my problem with interviewing Dan Aykroyd is I would crack up too much.
All those memories would come back from
Oh,
like the Blues Brothers and Ghostbusters.
I would crack up too much. And his way of dealing with it, I love his outlook on the paranormal. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
it is just that. We can't, it's not tangible. We can't touch it. We
No.
can't, put it in our pocket. So it literally is what it is. And like you said earlier, they have no sense of time. So
Yeah.
they're everywhere all the time. And it's hard to really fathom that. It's hard to process that
To have
kind
no
of power.
time. That would be weird.
Yeah.
Because one minute they probably see us as kids, not a problem. The next minute we're elderly. I mean, that must be weird for them.
Very weird. And then you get
Like,
into the parallel universes where you have your life going here and then you have another one of your lives above you going this way. So one's going this way, one's going this way.
I wonder if I'm
And
rich in this one. I need
I hope
it.
I am in that way.
I'm like, whoa, going that way.
You wanna reach up and grab it and pull it down.
Yes, I do sometimes. I tell you what.
But that's the beauty of this field. That's what I love about it, is you can talk about the craziest things and someone out there is gonna relate to it,
Or they've had that experience, and
or
that's
they've
what's so
had that
weird.
experience.
Was it double gainers or something where you see yourself or you
Oh, the
see your spouse?
doppelganger.
Yes, I've actually I can remember in my 20s, and it's really funny because I was making dinner, me and my friends, and I saw my husband run by us. We all did to the bathroom, and we started giggling like, "Oh, he's got to go." And I'm like, "Gee, Andrew," like that, and he answered from the other room, and we
Doppelganger.
all just stopped. We didn't say anything. We looked at each other, and I turned around and started cooking again. And I was like, "That wasn't Andrew."
That was a doppelganger, and
Yeah.
those are common. They pop up. Um,
Mm-hmm.
tulpas are another one where you can actually think. Let's say you guys were all sitting there thinking about Andrew. You could have created a vision of it,
That'd
a
be
tulpa.
interesting.
Um, there's powerful things you can do with the mind, just
Oh
amazing things
yeah.
you can do with the human mind. But seeing something like that, and that brings me to a point. What if it was residual? What if he had done that once in the
Yeah.
past and it was just released and you saw some residual energy?
Yeah. It
That's
could
a
very well
possibility
be.
too.
And that all of that would make sense because all of us saw it. So that's what's
Well,
really interesting.
yeah.
I always think about that once in a while, and it always makes me giggle.
That's a good paranormal experience because it's collective. You guys all
Yeah.
saw it, so no one's sitting here thinking, "Oh my God, I'm crazy." You know, it's good when everybody else sees it because it helps
I
to
know
bring
you
it.
don't feel crazy.
You don't feel crazy.
I think I've had three of them, three or four of them where other people were there and they witnessed things. And that, like, and I'm sure a lot of people have had that happen.
Mhm.
It kind of makes you feel good, like you haven't lost your marbles, but it also feels good because something's going on.
Something's going on. There is a piece to the puzzle, and you're looking right at it.
Yeah.
But where does that piece go? That's the
I
point
I
I'm
don't
at
know.
in my research, is where does that piece go? How does that piece fit into this so this works? It's a giant puzzle, the paranormal.
Yeah, and it's so
And
confusing.
it is. It's like one of those million piece puzzles that all the pieces look the same and some don't connect, but you try and force it, and it
Yeah,
just,
and and you're like, but I saw that. I know I saw that.
yep.
And then you hear, oh, and thank God for like shows like yours, podcast. I think it's helping people immensely feel not so lost.
I couldn't agree more. Like you said, paranormal television raised the awareness. It broke the taboo barrier. You can go out and freely talk about it now, and and you can freely talk about it, and no one thinks you're loony.
Yeah.
So it's just time healed it. Now we just need to, and the community's go. I've seen it go through several changes, several different trends. Right now, it's going through a trend, and it will slow down, and we'll get back to our research again um, once everybody comes back down to earth.
You think it will happen soon?
I hope. I hope it does happen soon because it's a shame. There's so
It
much
is,
more we
yeah.
could be doing. We could get some kind of panel together. I mean, look at
Oh,
MUFON.
yeah.
Look at MUFON. Look how organized they are.
And they're really good.
Really good.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm having someone from Arizona move on here, I believe in September.
That's organized, and
Yeah,
that's
they're
fantastic.
very organized.
And we can't, in the ghost field anyway. It's hard for us to do that because of all the egos. There's so many of them,
And it's
and
weird. to me. It's so weird.
Yeah, in the UFO community, it's night and day. Even in the crypto community, it's night and day. They get
Oh, I love
along. They
Bigfoot
hang
people.
out.
I love Bigfoot people.
Yeah, they share their evidence.
I
They
love them.
share all their. Me too. They're down to earth. They tell it
Yeah,
like it
cryptids.
is.
Every cryptid guy or gal I've ever talked to are so down to earth nice. Like, come on down for a barbecue type nice.
Yep.
I'm like,
We're gonna go
wow.
squatching and barbecuing all the same day. It's gonna be an experience. Gonna do some camping. There was years ago. I was invited on an expedition. I couldn't. Oh, I couldn't make it last minute. It was terrible. Um, Paris, Texas. I was going to go with Tom Biscardi. This
Oh.
guy. This guy's been researching Squatch since he was in diapers, and he had told me. He says, Todd, there's a lady here that feeds them. I said, feeds them? She goes, yes. Guess what she feeds them? I said, what? Pancakes and syrup.
What?
I love pancakes and syrup. This lady supposedly and he was going to go on this expedition and try and trap one um, with the pancakes and syrup.
And syrup.
But this old lady, she saw a little family, a whole family of squatches. She said, and she would just lay out their plate and they would, eat it. It'd be gone.
Oh,
I mean, what can you say? I
I
mean,
don't know what
why
to
why
say.
why would a little old lady make something like that up unless she's
She wouldn't.
delusional? But it was enough to get Tom's attention to go down there and do an expedition, for crying out loud. I mean, this guy's used to hanging out in the mountains and everything, and he's coming down from the mountain to deal with pancakes and syrup. And
Did he see anything?
no, I didn't hear that he saw anything at all.
Oh my gosh, but other people have told me that people do feed them, and sometimes it gets them in trouble
I
because
could
when
see
they
it.
move, the new people don't know that they fed these cryptids or these. I like to call them primates because to me they look like the great gorillas or
Oh,
something.
sure.
And they don't feed them, so they get terrorized by like pounds on the house, looking in windows. I mean, that would petrify me if I didn't know someone didn't. I was supposed to feed Bigfoot. I'd
I'd
be
be
like,
terrified.
what does he eat? What does he like? Apples? I'm a vegetarian. Tofu? Can I bake a cake?
there's, there's been past interviews. I've talked to people that have seen Squatch. They said they were driving down the road and there was a Sasquatch that looked like Tom Selleck with his thumb out. You get crazy stories, crazy stories. Another one said that she was washing dishes. Bigfoot was sitting up on her roof. She could hear him rustling around up there. And so she goes outside. He jumps down and runs off and just disappears.
Well,
So how do you explain that? I mean, there's so many reports
yeah,
that
there
come in,
is.
so many sightings. A lot of them are bogus, I'm sure,
Oh,
but
I'm sure.
some of
And then
them,
Dog Man.
dog man. Now that's
That's interesting and spooky. And you know what's so weird?
very.
My brother's a huge skeptic with a lot, even though he's a tarot reader. He's a
Mhm.
phenomenal tarot reader, but he's kind of skeptical on stuff. And I was interviewing Jeremiah from New York, and I said, Steve, I'm interviewing someone about Dogman and Bigfoot. He goes, I've seen Dogman. Like,
Oh,
he was dead serious about seeing Dogman in Ohio. I guess Michigan, Indiana, and Ohio, there's a lot of sightings of dogmen. I had no idea because I relate dogmen to werewolves for some reason.
same here.
I'm
That's
like,
the only way I
dogmen.
can relate to them because there's just no such creature like that unless it turns.
And that's frightening to me.
It is. When you
I'm
think of
like,
that side,
wait a minute.
yeah, when you think of that side of the paranormal, it's whoa. Now we're talking physical changes,
Shape
whether you have
shifting.
shapeshifters. Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows what the human mind can do?
I don't know. I find
That could
that
be so possible.
Dogmen and the Black Eyed Children scare me to death.
Black eyed children.
Like, what in the world are those things?
I don't know, but if I see them, I'm going to hit them with the car.
We're just going to see you running down the highway.
It's the black eyed kids. You're never supposed to invite them in, but they give you this spiel
Yeah.
and almost entice you to invite them in, but you're not supposed to look in their eyes or something like that. There's some
Yeah.
folklore behind that.
And once
But
they're in, you have bad luck. You don't last very long,
no,
apparently.
you're done. You get sick, whatever.
Oh, God.
It's creepy, and there's more reported sightings of the black-eyed kids and just different oddities in general these days
Yeah.
that they're finding. I mean, speaking of cryptozoology and people not believing in Bigfoot, well, no one believed in the giant squid either, and they just found it.
I know. Yeah.
They
I
just
wonder what
found
else
the
is.
Kraken.
I don't want to go swimming in those waters.
No, I'll pass.
So, Todd, out of all of the subjects of the paranormal, besides the spirits that you love to study and record, what are some of the most interesting other parts of the paranormal that you enjoy?
I love the metaphysical side of the paranormal. I enjoy the camaraderie of it on how they get along. I
Absolutely.
enjoy meeting new people, learning new things. There's so much to learn. It's unbelievable how much how much information is there and how free it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I enjoy the metaphysical side. I'm learning a lot about it, um, and becoming more in tune with myself, if that makes any sense. Trying to, since I pushed all of that outward, now I have all these things coming inward. And
Ah,
it's
yeah.
strange to me. I don't know what it is, but I got rid of a bunch of muck
You did, yeah.
and it's being filled with white light. Just you could just feel it generating, and I just feel like I'm a happier person. I'm lighter. I'm more focused than what I ever have been.
Absolutely.
So by all means, people, write, journal, do something, get it off your chest. Don't keep it in there. There's more room on the outside. There's Kevin. Time difference.
Wow.
That is the beauty of live radio right there. I love it. I love how it works.
But you
You
know
never
what,
know what's
though?
going to happen.
I think people needed to hear what you had to say.
Well, thank you. I can't thank you enough. This was fun talking to you, DeeDee. I had a blast.
I always love talking to you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we got onto some really good stuff tonight. That was a lot of
I
fun.
know.
My goodness. Yeah, and I don't know. It's a rat race, and all I can say to those people just coming in is don't let it get you down. Don't quit.
Oh, no, don't.
Keep up the good fight and just keep searching. Never stop searching, never give up like that.
Absolutely not. And they can get your book on Amazon.
Sure. It's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple Books. You can get a signed copy on my website, toddmichaelbates.com. You can get a signed copy there. I got another shipment coming in, getting those out. And I love signing the copies and making little little inscriptions in there. It's a lot of fun.
I
A
think
lot
it's
of fun.
cool. I think it's awesome. And then the new book is going to be out in about 6 or 7 months, you said?
6 to 8 months. That's my goal.
Halloween, is that your goal?
That's my goal. The Haunted Voice, The Life After. That's coming. That's going to be the next. It's going to be a trilogy.
I think it's awesome. And congratulations on
Thank
all
you.
of this exciting stuff and all your new shows.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you for taking time on here Friday nights to do yours, because you are amazing.
Thank you. I love talking to people, so I was a little skeptical drawing on my eyebrows. People always ask me about it, and I said, well, I feel weird being on video because I'm Gen X. I'm like, I have to draw my eyebrows on and have to put makeup on and lighting. We don't want a lot of lighting, ladies.
Yeah. I'm the same way. I'm old school audio.
Like-
It's
I
night
love
and
audio.
day. It's night and day. I enjoy it. I enjoy both, but I like audio better still, I think.
Yeah. Yes. And with all the
Just-
new projects everybody's doing, it's
It
crazy.
leads more to the imagination, I think.
Yeah.
Having
Like
it on
I'm
audio.
having a new podcast coming out soon called Two Women Having Tea.
Oh, nice.
And it's two women discussing spirituality and metaphysics and paranormal stuff.
Oh, that
So it's gonna be
sounds
fun.
amazing. Good for you.
It's going to be, and it's with my best friend Linza, who was on here that one time about meditation. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's going to
And-
be a blast.
Yeah,
Good for you. Keep them coming.
I will. So what shall we do about Kevin?
Well, that would be your call. We can bring him up here. I think he's... And then I will bow out. I don't see his video on, though. I just see his audio. So I don't know if his devices are even connected. We'll try bringing him up. What do you say?
Okay, we could try.
Kevin, you there?
I think he's having technical issues all night.
It was tech issues.
Wow, maybe I should reschedule him.
Yeah, I'd reschedule. Everything happens for a specific reason. You know that as well as I do.
I'm happy. I enjoyed this immensely, and I want to thank you
My pleasure.
for coming on. And then I will email him and reschedule. How
Yeah,
does that sound?
definitely have him back.
I will. He's a great guy.
Everything worked out great. I had a blast, DeeDee. I can't thank you enough.
Well, we'll
was
have
a
you
lot
on my new podcast when it's all set.
Oh, I'd love to.
So you can talk to the two women having tea.
I would love to, and I'll have some myself.
You have a great night, Todd. Thank you so much.
You too. Take care, DeeDee.
Bye-bye.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.